Thank you very much, Madam Chairwoman. Commissioner, always good to be in your company. Allow me to begin, of course, by thanking you for being a good partner to me and the people that I represent in the Southern Tier, you and your team. I want to publicly thank you and the Governor for all of your hard work on the work we did at the former Broome Developmental Center to bring additional treatment services online there. It was a very heavy lift, of course, in our community. However, it's done, and I applaud you and your staff for that. I just want to hit a couple of things if I can. I want to go back to the surcharge, as Senator Amador spoke about. I just want to be clear about something, that this surcharge could, in fact, as the Governor has proposed, generate something like $127 million in revenues. Is that your understanding?
Yes. If it passes, if it starts July 1st, yes, that's what's anticipated.
Okay, you know that there is probably no bigger fan of OASAS than I. So I have concerns about this surcharge, of course, because my understanding is that that $127 million is simply going to supplant current funding, and it's not for new services. Is that your understanding as well?
That is not my understanding, being that the way it is written, it says it goes into a fund, and it's to be used only for treatment, prevention, and recovery services to deal with the opioid epidemic. And as I indicated, moving forward, you know, I would expect that some of that funding we would be able to tap into for future programming.
So with all due respect, Commissioner, am I to believe sitting here that we will have access, I say we, you, in your agency will have access to an additional $127 million if passed as proposed by the Governor to deal with this particular issue?
What it says is that the monies could only be used to provide prevention, treatment, and recovery services to deal with that with the epidemic. Having said that, there may be other departments like the Department of Health that may provide and do provide very critical services around addiction that they may be able to access dollars. That's the way it's written, but it's our anticipation that we will be able to access some of those dollars as well.
Would always feel so much more comfortable if we could put that $127 million in the proverbial lockbox and make sure that nobody else took that money from you, of course. Let me change topics, if I may, and go back to substance use disorder within the confines of correctional facilities. Are you familiar with a recent report published by the Conference of Local Mental Hygiene Directors in which they're asking for $12.8 million to address SUD in the 57 county correctional facilities throughout the state?
Yes, I am familiar.
So is that something that you would support?
I think we need to talk about it and look at it. It's something that has been presented to me. It's something, as I indicated, we ourselves have been talking with the Commissioner of Docs to see how we could better implement services and complement services that exist there. So it's under review, and that's all I can really say at this point.
Sure, I appreciate that. With that said, on that particular issue, giving local control to the local mental health providers and so on and so forth with oversight from OASAS. Of course, it's under review, as you just said. Is that something that you're comfortable with, or that too needs additional discussion?
I think that needs additional discussion.
Okay, let me move to the topic of fentanyl. I'm running out of time. Is OASAS seeing an influx of overdoses related to an increased use of fentanyl?
Yes.
Okay. Is the agency taking any particular steps to deal with this particular issue?
Well, like I said, we're very aggressively out there campaigns. We have a lot of campaigns to inform people of fentanyl, because a lot of the overdoses that we are seeing is really the fentanyl that is laced in the chemical. So it's really important that we get the word out there, that we educate people as much as we can about the dangers of fentanyl and the fact that people think they know what they're buying, but they really don't. Never before have we heard of people ODing on cocaine. Well, it's not the cocaine, it's the fentanyl that's in there. So we are aggressively doing whatever we can to inform the public about the fentanyl piece and to access, treatment. We're out there also aggressively trying to get people to seek treatment.
As you well know, my background is in law enforcement, and one thing that I have been consistent about since the day I was elected in dealing with this particular issue is that we should focus less attention on enforcement and more on prevention and treatment and recovery and so on and so forth. However, this is one particular area in which I think we need to make improvements. Clearly, the federal government has moved fentanyl, its derivatives, so on and so forth, into a schedule. We are lagging behind in that particular area, and I'm wondering if you have a position on whether or not it's time for the state of New York to make some changes where fentanyl is concerned.
I believe just recently there was a press release that there is consideration to have fentanyl and fentanyl analogs as well as synthetic marijuana to be part of the scheduling.
I would hope that regardless of our politics or regardless of what side of the aisle we sit on, that this is an area where we could come together and find some common ground, because clearly this influx of fentanyl is killing people by the masses, and we have to address it. I'll end on this by simply saying thank you once again for your commitment to the people of this great state, and you have a difficult job. And I want to personally thank you again for the friendship that we've developed. Thank you.